welcome to another edition of this BS podcast show. I'm your host, like always, your main man,
the Fry Guy,
Brandon Fryer. We got a great show for you today. I'm rolling solo, no Danae today, nobody else, just me. Hopefully y'all still tune in. I know it's nice to have a woman perspective, but hopefully y'all will still listen in to your boy, the Fry Guy, as I'm about to give you nothing but the greatest sports. We got a lot to talk about. We got some hoops we're going to talk about. We got some baseball, a little football. We got your ish. We got our results for our 2014 BS rap brackets. And we got a new segment. You know, I sent a question out on Twitter pretty much asking, you know, what April Fool's is today, by the way. I asked, who is the biggest fool of 2014 so far? And I had a lot of people sending in their stuff, so we're going to get into that. But before we get into any of that, let's get you caught up with this week news with our BS update. And let's start off the NCAA and some college hoops as the Final Four is set. And those teams are Kentucky as they're going to take on Wisconsin, and Florida as they're going to take on UConn. Also, with some of them teams out, some players have been declared for the draft. And those players are Andrew Wiggins of Kansas, Tyler Ennis of Syracuse. We got TJ Warren from North Carolina State, Noel from Indiana. And there's also been a report of a few players. They haven't officially declared yet, but there's reports that these players are about to enter the NBA. And those are Joel Embiid, Kyle Anderson, Zach LaVine, and Arizona's own Aaron Gordon. Also, Wichita State head coach Greg Marshall wins the IBA Coach of the Year. Duke's top assistant, Steve Wojciechowski, is a report that he has accepted the head coaching job of Marquette University. All-American teams have been announced, and some of the notable names are Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins, also Doug McDermott and Shabazz Napier. Cal's head coach, Mike Montgomery, retires from coaching, as he announced. And Louisville guard, Calvin Ware, you may know him, the guy who broke his leg last NCAA tournament. He said he will transfer to another school for his senior year. In college football, Northwestern players win the first case in their first step in becoming unionized against the NCAA. But there's a report that the NCAA, of course, they will appeal. In the NFL, Ray Rice is indicted on one count of aggravated assault after striking his fiancee, which is now his wife because he's officially married now after that incident. There's been some releases in the NFL as Deshaun Jackson has been released from the Philadelphia Eagles, and there's been a report that Chris Johnson of the Tennessee Titans will be released sometime this week. Also, there have been some notable signings this week in the NFL. Jared Allen signs with the Bears. Carlos Rogers and Maurice Jones-Drew signs with the Raiders. LeGarrette Blount to the Steelers. Sean Phillips with the Titans. And Noshawn Moreno signs with the Dolphins. The Pats and Vince Wilfork restructured their deal on a new 3-year deal. And Bill Belichick is out from announcing for Fox Sports TV. In the NBA, Chicago Bulls point guard Derrick Rose participates in non-contact drills, but he is still ruled out for the season from the front office. Golden State head coach Mark Jackson reassigns assistant Brian Scalabrine from his staff. That's the second time this happened this NBA season. First with Jason Kidd, doing that to Lawrence Frank, and now Mark Jackson with Brian Scalabrine. What's going on there? In the MLB, they announced that they would extend their expenditure on performance-enhancing drugs from 50 games to 80 games for first-time users. The Detroit Tigers and Miguel Cabrera agree on a 7-year, close around $258 million extension, and the Angels and Mike Trout agreed to a 6-year, $144.5 million. And let's start there with some baseball MLB talk with opening day coming up in our first quarter. Before I get into baseball, this BS just got in as I'm doing this. Tiger Woods has tweeted out that he will miss the Masters because he's still having surgery. So that's probably a big hit for golf and the Masters. Their executives probably at TV are probably just like, no. I know they're upset about that. But let's get back to some baseball. Opening day was yesterday. And I was excited. I'm always excited about opening day. The first day of any sporting event I'm kind of always excited for when it comes to the 4 major sports. You know, NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL. I'm always excited for those. So with opening day coming up, some things I took away from opening day. The first was the contracts, of course. I looked at the contracts I already announced about Miguel Cabrera and Mike Trout. I feel like even though Miguel Cabrera is the best player to me in baseball, I'm never a big fan on giving big extensions and all this money to players that's in their 30s. That's either about to be in their 30s or in their 30s. It's never a good investment to me. Look at Robinson coming up. No, I'm not a big fan of that. Albert Pujols, that's failing. Alex Rodriguez, I'm never a huge fan of that. Now the Mike Trout deal, great deal. I know this is like his 3rd year in baseball. That is a great investment because you got this man young and you gave him that money. That's going to be a great investment. That's going to be money well spent. And actually, I think he probably got robbed a little bit, Mike Trout, because he's probably worth more than that to me, in my opinion. But another thing I took away from opening day, I should add, is Ryan Braun. He got a standing ovation. And I understand he was at home, but he got a standing ovation after, he lied to people about using performance enhancers. And then I looked at another one because I was watching the Cubs and the Pirates, and Barry Bonds presented the MVP award to Andrew McCutchen, and he got booed, which is understandable because even though he started with the Pirates, he's more of a San Francisco guy, and he got booed. My thing is this. I kind of see a double standard. Now, before you go crazy and say, he about to pull the race card out, just hear me out real quick. Barry Bonds gets booed. Not saying he should not get booed. That's fair. But I wonder, is Ryan Braun going to get booed in visiting stadiums? Now, if he does, this argument is just invalid. Now, I understand he got cheered. It was a home game. He got cheered. He got a standing ovation. Not just cheered. He got a standing ovation. So, and I understand he's the savior for the Brewers and he's their best player. Understand that. But if I see this man not getting booed, rather cheered in visiting teams, I'm going to have a problem with that. Because then I might have to pull that race card and then I'm going to see there is a double standard. Because Barry Bonds get booed, A-Rod gets just trash, but then Ryan Braun, who did lie on national TV, gets cheered. I found a problem with that. And I don't want to hear this debate of talking about you shouldn't tell fans how to feel. Look, I'm just saying it's a double standard if that's the case. So that's one thing that definitely I took away from out of anything over there. That was the one thing that stood out to me. Another thing that I saw, the Boston Red Sox. I saw the pictures of them heading to the White House, Obama. That always happens when you do championship. The one thing that stands out to me was Johnny Gomes. You got to check out his blazers. Go online, check out his blazer. He got the like Star Strangle. Like he got the whole flag joint as his suit. You got the red, white, and blue. Got pretty much a flag as his blazer. It is dope. I kind of like it. Outgoing characters. That's the whole Boston Red Sox kind of thing. Their mojo. I love it, man. I'm becoming more of a fan. I'm not really a huge Boston Red Sox fan, but just I like outgoing personalities and fun-loving personalities, not outgoing personalities for the wrong reasons. I'm going to give you my predictions real quick for this MLB season. I understand opening day is already passed, but there's a lot of games left, and you can't determine that who's going to be the champion off one game, so I can still give my predictions. So I got some predictions. For my MVP, I'm going to give it to the AL. I'm going to give it to Mike Trout. And then of the NL, I'm going to give it to Bryce Harper. My division and wild card winners. Now, pay attention to this one. Let's start off in the American League. So in the American League West, I got the Texas Rangers coming out of that division. And then the American League East, I got the Boston Red Sox. The American League Central, I got the Tigers because you got Justin Verlander and Miggy. Come on, man. You can't argue with that. My wild cards, I'm going to have the Los Angeles Angels. And I know they've been struggling, but I feel like Albert Pujols is going to get it together. Not saying he's going to be the Albert Pujols O's, but he's going to be least manageable. And Mike Trout is going to just show you why he's the MVP. And I feel like their pitching hopefully will hold up with Weaver and C.J. Wilson. Hopefully they can hold up. And then the other wild card spot, I got the New York Yankees. Their team is better. I'm not a huge Yankee fan, but their team to me is better. You got Brian McCann. You got Ellsbury. You got the Japanese sensation, so you fix up that pitching a little bit. Hopefully that pitch can hold up. I just don't have them overtaking the Boston Red Sox, but I do have them having that wild card spot. In the National League West, I have the LA Dodgers. In the East, I got the Atlanta Braves. In the Central, I got the St. Louis Cardinals. Then in the wild card slots, I got the Washington Nationals, And this one was tough. I was choosing between the San Francisco Giants and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm going to give the edge to the Pirates. I'm a huge fan, like, pitching wins games. And San Francisco Giants have the pitching. They have no hitting, while the Pittsburgh Pirates pitching is okay. But you got the reigning MVP and Andrew McCutchen, so I kind of just gave them the edge. Rookie of the Year in the AL, Jose Abreu, or Abreu, whatever you want to call him, for the White Sox. I feel like the reason why I gave him it over the Japanese sensation in New York, because he's going to be an everyday player. He's going to play more. He's getting it over Paul Konerko, Adam Dunn. He's given an opportunity to shine, and they gave him that money, so they want to show that he's worth it. And then in the National League, I got the Wong kid from St. Louis Cardinals. Cy Young, I got Lester from the Red Sox, and I got Kershaw for the Dodgers. And then my Manager of the Year, the AL, I got the new skipper, Brad Ausmus, for the Detroit Tigers. I feel like that team is loaded with talent. Even though they traded away, Fielder, they still got back Kindler. So I feel like he's going to be the AL Manager of the Year. And then the NL, I got Mike Matley from the St. Louis Cardinals. And then my World Series matchup, I got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. This one's tough, and the winner I'm going to give it to, this is tough, the Dodgers. Hopefully they don't steer me wrong. Puig, get it together. Come on, Donnie Baseball, get this team in order. I'm just going with, their pitching is solid. Regardless of all that star power they have, you got Kershaw. Did you see the kid, Japanese kid too, who pitched against the San Diego Padres? He dominated too. The only reason why they lost that game, the thing that I'm worried about the Dodgers, by the way, and the reason why they lost that game too, was because of that bullpen. Brian Wilson, he struggled, but that bullpen, they need to get a nice setup man. They got to find their answer in their setup man. To me, I feel like that's going to be their biggest question mark all season. All right, second quarter here. With it being April Fools, happy April Fools, by the way, I sent a question out on Twitter pretty much asking, who's the biggest fool so far in 2014? And these are the names that I got. So bear with me. One person told me Johnny Manziel because of his pro day. So he's saying he's the biggest fool. Now look, my response to that is, he came out in the whole pads and stuff like that. That was a whole marketing ploy. I know he got a lot of antics and stuff like that, but really his pro day was pretty solid. I have to give it to him. He put on the pads and the helmets because he was like, and they asked him, why are you going to put those on? He's like, because that's what we're going to play in, helmet and pads, which is true. Like, why are you amazed a person throwing a ball in shorts and T-shirts? Now, granted, the dude did have a broom chasing him, but it was a little over the top, but the man did have a solid pro day. Another person put Ron Artest. That's a good one. I'm sorry. Obviously, he was my full of bull player last week. But, he said another comment again comparing Lakers forward Ryan Kelly to Kevin Durant. Like, he's always doing something crazy. And he's begging Phil Jackson. He's pleading like, come on, give me another chance with the Knicks. You saying crazy stuff like that. Phil Jackson probably like, get this guy away from me. Another person said Lamar Odom, just off his lifestyle alone. Okay. One person said Bob Knight, of his comments that he said about the one and done rule, which Bob Knight, I kind of agree with this one because look, Bob Knight said this thing talking about, I don't agree with the one and done rule. They're raping the NCAA. The NCAA is raping these players. Let's get that correct. I know you all for the NCAA, but look, they had their wrong too. So don't just, come at these players. Come at the NCAA too. Come on. It's fair game to me. Another person said Dennis Rodman because of his antics, obviously with the whole South Korea thing. He played a game, by the way, this past week in drag. So, I don't know. They said A-Rod off suing the MLB. Another person said Rodney White because he pretty much went back on his bet. Not anymore because now he kind of made up for it. So, if you don't know the story, he said he was going to do this bet off this Duke and Mercer game. And he went back on it on a fan on Twitter. He pretty much said, if I lose this bet, I'll give you season tickets, 50-yard line for the whole season. And then, obviously, he lost the bet. And then he said, you know what, I'll just give you one game against the Bears. And then he was taking a lot of heat for it. Then later he changed it. He's giving like Super Bowl tickets, first game ones to the Bears, and also like training day, meet and greet and all this stuff. So he kind of made up for it. Then another person said Jerry Jones, Dallas owner, for wanting money back from Jay Ratliff. If anything, he should give some money back. Jerry Jones should give some money back for being the GM. He needs to give that check away because he's been a horrible GM. But my winner from all of these, the one I got to go with, it's a tie between Ron Artest and Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is just, his stuff is more like worldly. The man's been on CNN News. You know what? I'm going to give it to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman will be our April Fool so far of 2014. All right, man. This is my favorite part. It's halftime. I've been looking forward to this because it's time to give you our results to our 2014 BS Rap Brackets. I already put it out on Tumblr if you didn't, but if you didn't check it out, I got the results right here. We're down to our final four. And coming out the Midwest is Kanye West. Coming out the West is Kendrick Lamar. Coming out the East is Drake. And coming out the South is Rick Ross. So Kanye is going to take on Kendrick Lamar, and Drake is going to take on Rick Ross. Good matchup. Now, if I'm picking, I'm going to say it's going to be between Drake and Kanye. That's my bet. And I overall think the winner, that one's going to be tough. I'm going to probably give it to Kanye. I want to give it to Kanye. I'm hesitating because I think it's going to go to Drake. That's why I hesitated. I don't know. I want Kanye, but I really think Drake. But I'm just going to say Kanye. I'm just going to go with my heart. From our results, like, out the Spit 16, you know you had to vote twice. So it was down to 16 people, but you had to vote, like, for the Spit 16 round. Then you had to vote for the Elite 8 round. From our Spit 16, our results from that, the upsets there was T.I. from the South and then the Game from the West. Then the blowout there was Kanye West winning with 89%. And then the closest matchup was Drake. He only won by 63% in that third round in that Spit 16. Then the Elite, the only upset was Drake out the East as he defeated Jay-Z. And he also had the closest one too because he had 53%. And then the biggest blowout was Kendrick Lamar over the Game with 73%. So now we down to our final four. It's going to be great. You guys going to have to vote twice again. So by the end of this, I'm going to give you my champion. So out that four, you're going to vote for this round and bring it down to 2. And then you're going to vote again and bring it down to 1. So next week, we're going to reveal our winner of our 2014 BS Rap Bracket. I'm excited. I wonder who's going to win. All right, here in the third quarter, we're going to talk some college hoops. And I'm going to start off with this question. Are you still looking at your brackets? I know y'all probably ripped them up after the first round. I officially now have ripped mine up because I'm done. All my teams are out. I'm done. Michigan State's out. Louisville's out. Kansas is out. Arizona's out. I'm just done. Like, I'm still, I think I'm winning over Danae. She still has like one team in it, and I think it's Florida. So Florida has to win the national championship, I think, for her to win. I don't know the exact points, but I know I'm winning right now. But she still has a team in there. So I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to say, but after the whole games, and I want to recap it, Kentucky's been playing the best. And that's the team I'm going to kind of go on with to win the whole bracket, the whole tournament. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's going to be between Kentucky and Florida again. And granted, Florida has beaten Kentucky twice so far this season, but I always think it's hard to beat a team for the third time. And Kentucky, to me, is playing the best ball so far this college season. Ever since the SEC tournament, man, they have just been on a roll. So I got them kind of taking it off. But watch out for Wisconsin, though. That's going to be the tough matchup. And if Wisconsin wins that against Kentucky, then I'm going to have Florida. So really, I have Kentucky, Florida, then I have Wisconsin, then UConn. I'm just not a believer in UConn yet, even though Kevin Olly's been doing his thing. Next quarter. This is my favorite segment, like always. It's your issues where you send us questions via Twitter. That's at This BS Show. And I answer them here, right here on this segment. Let's get it started. Jazzman2885. He's back again, man. What's up? Do you think Kane Coach's idea of player union is a good idea? I do. I really do. The reason why I say I think it's a good idea, the NCAA has been making so much money off of them. So, and Kane Corder's argument is not about players getting paid. He's more on the argument of, look, he saw the medical bills and seeing all this. You know, the school, if they get like in concussions, they medical bills, the school don't pay for it. They have to pay for it. But they're making billions of dollars. What I feel like, I'm not going to start the argument about players, should they be getting paid? But what they need to do is maybe the NCAA needs to probably up that scholarship money, because they got enough money. Maybe up it for the players and the student athletes, since they're making this school and the NCAA so much money. The next question, D. Will 35 said, what are your thoughts on Kobe on his comments on Trayvon Martin? I got his big picture of what Kobe was going to say. Pretty much Kobe was talking about the whole Trayvon Martin case, and he pretty much said he's not going to, he think it was extra just because he was black. The way he said it was wrong. That's why he's getting the heat for it. I got the bigger picture of it. He pretty much was saying, like, we shouldn't go all out and make it a big cause and put it all out there if we don't know all the facts right. But then later Kobe went to say it was wrong and all this. So obviously he knew what he said was wrong. So I do think I get his big picture, but Kobe, the way he phrased it was so wrong, and he deserved it, the heat that he's getting. I really do believe that he deserves the heat he's getting, because at the end of the day, there's a family, there's parents that lost their kid. It's a lost life in the process. So for you to say that, if you don't have nothing good to say, there's a saying, don't say nothing at all. And Kobe, you should have not said nothing. You should have said no comment. Next question. The Jason Alazar said, how do you think the Blackhawks' chances are this upcoming playoff season? I'm worried about them. Now, Jonathan Taves, he got hurt, but they saying it's not that big of a deal. Patrick Kane is already out, so you got your two best players out. But even with them two, when they were together, they just haven't been playing good hockey of late. They're not going into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. I'm kind of worried about this team. Now, I got my faith in them because they're champions, they're defending champs. I got my faith in them, but I'm probably worried about them. They just, something's missing there. I don't know if they just kind of coasting it and we just going to get it turned on in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm extremely worried about the Blackhawks. That's my opinion. I'm just extremely worried about them. Before I get up out of here, got to give you my player of the game. It goes to the team Philadelphia 76ers. The reason why? They're the lovable losers, but they avoided history. It's the history you don't want to be a part of. They had a 26-game losing streak, and they was on the verge of breaking the Cavaliers' losing streak, but they managed to beat the Detroit Pistons. For that, Philadelphia 76ers, you are my player of the game. Hopefully there are brighter days ahead of y'all, because y'all definitely need it. Brent Brown, the head coach, is probably just pulling his hair out. He is just dying. Like, he's already planning his vacation right now. He's probably like, he just probably want to get out of Philadelphia right now. Like, oh my God. He probably want to go back to San Antonio, because you know he was the assistant head coach over there. So he probably got his vacation sites over there. Maybe Greg Popovich would like let him help him out, give him some coaching tips, because he can't do much. But I don't blame him. I blame that front office. So Philadelphia 76ers, you are my BS player of the game. My Fuller Bull award goes to the Philadelphia Eagles for cutting Deshaun Jackson. Not really because they cut him. It's fair. It's for money. But the reason why they cut him, because of his alleged gang ties. Now, we don't know if he's a part of the gang or not, but you cut this guy and you put a bad reputation on his name about his alleged gang ties, but then you sign or give an extension to Riley Cooper, give him a brand new deal. And he's been on record, there's videos still out there about Riley Cooper saying racist comments, but you keep him. So that's okay. But Deshaun Jackson, just because he has alleged gang ties, he has to go. Just say what it is. We cut him for money reasons, or he just don't fit with the team no more. Now you put this bad rap on his name. Look, there's probably a lot of people who got ties, especially in the African-American community, people who are a part of gang, stuff like that. I know a few people that I'm probably associated with, not too tight, that has been in gangs and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I have gang ties with them. Just because I know them or know of them and they're in the gang does not mean that. Now, Deshaun Jackson could or could not be, but the fact that it's alleged gang ties, I have a problem with that. So don't feed me BS, Philadelphia Eagles, and call it sugar grits. I'm just not having it, man. Just not having that. I want y'all to go on my Tumblr page. That's the friedguybs.tumblr.com. Go on there. I got a lot of great stuff. First, I have the April Fool joke Jamarcus Cousins played on us. The man said that he was going to drop an R&B album under the name Boogie Smooth, and he had people feature from Rick Ross and Chance to rap on it. And then he ain't released one. April Fool, jokes on us. I was actually looking forward to it. I wanted to hear it. I want to hear this man do his R&B album. So he played me. He probably played a whole bunch of other people out there. Also, go in there. You can check out our results and our matchups for our 2014 BS rap bracket. We got LeBron James audio, video leaked of him rapping over Jay-Z's "You Know I Got It" featuring Rick Ross. You see him spit. He's spitting about yachts. You know he got it. Rings. You know he got it. You got to hear it. You got to check it out. Also, I need y'all to go on there. Check out Jay Farrell's impersonation of Stephen A. Smith. There's a video out of him doing it on Saturday Night Live. It is hilarious. I was dying laughing. They got the hairline all the way back. He got his mannerisms right. That's what I find funny about it. The mannerisms are just dead on. Also, go on there. Check out, it's my sister's birthday today. She was born on April Fool's Day. She's a fool, baby. Just joking. But it's her 21st birthday. You know I do music on the side. I told you I make beats. She DJs and she films. So me and her put together a tape. It's called the Ola Mills Beat Tape. It's me and her collabing together. It's dope. Check it out. It's on our Tumblr page. Check it out. Remember to hit us up on Twitter. That's at This BS Show. Send us your questions. Anything, your responses, I can answer them here on any of our shows. Just a dope show, man. I want to thank y'all, man. Hopefully y'all managed to deal with me by myself. I really hope y'all didn't turn off no, Danae, I'm done with this. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of this BS podcast show. Before I get up out of here, I want to give some thanks and some shout outs. Thank everybody for tuning in and giving me their feedback. I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to my man Devin Washington, my man Lawrence Holmes, my man Herb Lawrence, my man Jonathan Hood, the people, the whole fam there at the game, 87.7. Love y'all, man. People up at Big Ten Network. I'm finding more and more people who is listening to this show more and more. It is growing, and I appreciate it. People from big offices and all that, I appreciate it. And I want to give a special thanks to my sister. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your birthday. Have fun. Have a blast. Be safe, of course. And remember, life is a game. So play hard all 4 quarters. I'm your host, like always,
The Fry Guy,
Brandon Fryer. About to get up out of here, man. The sun is still out. It's just a little early. About to go enjoy myself. I have a good one, man. Peace. See y'all next week. Man, it's hot as mug up in here, boy.
thank you, come again.
Bye-bye. Trip. I'm out of here anyway. Peace out.